All right,
There we go.
we are live. All right, I'm gonna get us started. Hi, everyone who will join in live and to people who will watch later today once the live session is archived. Uh, Happy New Year as well. So, I have our guest for today's session. We're still carrying on our conversation with local publishers. We want to know where our writers can, find publishing services within Lesotho. And I hope that the conversation has been helpful for our aspiring authors out there. Once again, Kalibito ke Lerato, Mensa Brampa, I'm representing Muduani, which was called Young Basotho Writers for the longest of time, but the mission is still really to support writers and to give them, to connect them with resources that will empower them in their writing journeys. So, without any further ado, I just want to welcome our guest for today, Ellen Aus Takani. And I think your camera went off again. Oh, you're back. You're
Oh,
back.
I'm back. Please forgive me.
Yes.
My network has decided to be a little shaky,
No,
but
no
I'm still
worries at all. Okay,
yeah.
still here. Well, say hi to the people, to the no right now, no one yet, but the people will be there hopefully.
Hi, everyone. I like how I say everyone. Like, well,
I
there'll be
know.
everyone.
Meanwhile, zero.
So, like she
No,
said, my name is Takani Ratabile Shale. I'm a publisher. I own Lipsticks and Scars Publishing House. I'm also a writer.
beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm really happy that I'm having this conversation with you. I had kind of been seeing lipstick and scars on the Facebooks and just seeing, I think, the a couple of books that you've helped publish. So I think just to get us started, please tell us a little bit about Lipstick and Scars Publishing. What is this and how did it come about?
So it came about, I think, during COVID, hey? I have
Mm,
always written, and I had a friend who was writing a book, and she was struggling to find publishers. So she asked me to edit, and then I was thinking, I mean, why not just publish it myself? So that's how the
mm,
whole thing started. I registered the company, did my research, and basically hit the ground running. And the book was a success. I don't think I had anticipated how much of a success it would be, actually. I was quite shocked.
mm.
Yeah. And then after that, I did a children's book with another friend of mine. It's available also for retail. After that, I think I took a bit of a dip. I think I got a new job and school, and then there was just a lot going on in my life. So things that sort of fell away. Then
Yeah.
last year, also another friend published a book via Jacana Media and Essay, but then they wanted to distribute it in Lesotho, so we partnered with that.
Mm.
So that's pretty much been the journey. But with this new year, part of my resolutions, I don't know if you do resolutions.
I mean, I think I'm trying to do resolutions at any point in the year, but January does give me that like motivation to
Yes.
pick things up. Yeah.
So I was thinking about what to do this year, and I decided, you know what, let me really go back because this is something that I love. And I
Mm,
think also maybe I have more time because school has been done. So I'm looking to get back into it heavily again this year.
that's awesome. I'm really excited, and I think ke batla re tlo re bua ka tsona dibuka tseno in more depth and detail. But before we do that, I would just really love to know the inspiration behind the name because it's already such a compelling name for a publisher, Lipstick and Scars Publishing. So I really want to know because I feel like when people tell the story behind the names of things, you really get to also learn more about the vision of the person that birthed that idea. So yeah, Lipstick and Scars. What's that about?
So initially, I had wanted to be a financial planner. Go figure that. So I had a blog. It was called Lipsticks and Cents because I wanted to
Mm,
do finance in from the perspective of women, so to speak. So it was lipsticks and scents. And then when that didn't work out, because turns out I really do not like finance at all. Yeah. So I still wanted to keep the name, but obviously the
Mm,
scents didn't make sense anymore. But I was like, okay, let's do scars because yeah, you think of lipsticks and you think women being pretty, everything working out, slay. And then the scars part is sometimes it's not always like that. Sometimes life does get hectic and you do get scarred
mm.
along the way. So that's how the name came about. And I love the name. I don't think I pretty much love the name.
Yeah, and does that mean then that even as you kind of you nkare, adapted the name from an initial idea to publishing, do you still want to have a focus on women writers for your publishing house? Is that important to Visionia Campania how?
It is quite important, and I think I'm more interested about women's stories being told by women from the perspective of women, especially Black women. So that's been a
Mm,
big part of my mission, just Black women being in charge of their own narrative. Of course, if a male writer came up with a book that I liked, I would publish it, but it would also have to align with my core beliefs around things such
mm.
as gender politics, misogyny, and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I think with that said, I would love to get a sense of the books that you have published. I personally know them because I be digging around the internet, but I would like you to. I haven't read them yet. I will say I know of them, but I'm yet to read them. I would just
Okay.
like you to tell our viewers and fellow writers, Orena, what are these two? You mentioned two books that you published, and then the third book. If you could just tell us the titles of these books, what they're about, who wrote them, and I think really what drew you to publishing them.
Yeah. So our very first book was Balea Dinyopa by Dino Matlakalan Salong. It's a fictionalized autobiography because she tells her
Mm,
story, but she also brings in stories of two other women and then weaves them into one single story. It's about facing infertility in Lesotho, where you know that as a married woman, if you can't have a kid, then you will face certain problems. Society looks at
mm,
you in a certain way. Yeah. So it's a very moving, very compelling story. And then like I said, I loved it was very vulnerable of her to write that story. And I think it amplified the voices of women dealing with infertility everywhere.
right.
After that, I did Keratilwe. Keratilwe is a children's book by Retabilin Tereke. Growing up, I've always been an avid reader, but obviously it was Cinderella, it was The Princess and the Pea. It was all those books with very nice white little girls who lived in faraway castles and things that I honestly could not relate to my life. So it was
Mm,
very refreshing to meet somebody who wrote a book about a little girl growing up in Lesotho having the experiences that we have. And I would like to think it applies to the rest of Africa and Southern Africa as well because our lives pretty much are the same. So we wanted to
mm,
bring, and I think our tagline on our marketing campaign was a hero your child can relate to because we wanted that someone that your child can relate to. Just little girls and boys in Lesotho seeing themselves represented through the pages of a book, which is what I had always wanted in my childhood. And she made me realize that dream. The third one, which now I didn't publish this, we are just distributing it. Oh,
right.
I was looking for a copy and I realized I gave it to someone because I'd brought it with me.
Oh,
Okay,
that's all good.
yeah, no, it's fine.
Nika, you can
I
just
might
tell
send
us
you
about it. Yeah.
it. So,
Oh,
it's
hey.
written, it's written by Dimpho so. It's called
Okay.
Unbreakable. So it's also an autobiography. She speaks about her journey as a woman in love with another woman I don't want to assign a label to that because she'll assign the label herself.
Mm,
So she was married to a man prior and had a child. So now she's married to a woman, and they were also struggling to have a baby through IVF and all the challenges you face as part of the LGBTQI community, especially when you're a foreigner, because she moved to SA and they were trying to
mm,
get married. There were hurdles to that. Then they tried IVF. There were also hurdles to that. Then there's her family. How do you now tell your family that after being married to a man for so long, I have now decided to be involved with another woman? So yeah, that's the three books.
that's I mean, I feel like they're all very bold stories in their own right, in different genres as well.
Hmm.
I really appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate it when publishers, and I've had conversation with publishers. I really love that most publishers have a story of what brought them into, publishing. You see the value of stories being told, and in this case, there's also a sense of stories by women, stories by Basotho women, and I think that's a very specific corner of the publishing scene that you are occupying as Lipstick and Scars. And I think from there, I really want to know. Well, actually, first of all, I see three viewers. I just really want to know that ntse le re utlwa hantle. So if you are tuned in and actually like wanting to stay through this session, please just say something in the chat, kapa in the comment section, and just let us know that you're here and that you can hear as well. Because we can't really know that the reception on your end is all good, but I would just really love to know who's watching and who's tuned in. Then thank you so much for tuning in. So I was Takani, I wanted to ask you, when you kind of decided, hey, I'm going to register this publishing company, what did you get a sense ya hore na the publishing scene Lesotho e eme jwang, and how do you kind of fit into that, I guess, market, maybe, if we can
Yeah,
call it that? Mm.
I was quite naive hey at the time. I don't know if I was naive or very optimistic. I had overestimated how much I would make in terms of sales, in terms of popularity, and in terms of
Mm,
the competition. Yes, I did not do proper research. And maybe with experience, I'm learning more as I go along that, okay, maybe I should have factored that in. Maybe I should have taken that into account. But I am quite happy with the reception in how Basotho have taken up the books that we've offered and the
mm,
reviews on them, yes. And I see in recent years, post COVID, maybe, or maybe it's been there. I'm just noticing it now because I'm now in that space that young Basotho writers are very much active, and publishing houses, book clubs, there's a lot to be done with the writing and publishing market in Lesotho. So it's going in the right
yeah.
direction. Yeah.
All right. And I think with that said, because I want our writers to also feel like empowered about how the publishing process works, if you don't mind, could you let us into the two books that you personally published? What did that process look like? Do you go in as far as the process of
The nitty
publishing? Are
gritty.
you doing are you doing are you a one woman team? Are you doing the editing? Are you kind of outsourcing for like printing and book design? Or just the whole process of bringing the book into life. What did that look like?
So I outsource on things like design and photography and also printing because, like I said, it's a very small company. So we mostly use Morija printing press. But then the
Mm,
editing and the formatting and all that, I do all those myself. And then getting the ISBN, doing the marketing, the distribution, all that is on me. Yeah.
mm. And like how much of how much do you involve the writer that you're publishing in that throughout that process? Like for example,
Luckily,
a book
no.
design or and like I guess they also it sounded like the writers were your friends, so I think there was already that
Yeah, I was
relationship
going
that you
to
had.
say, lucky or unlucky, the writers that I've dealt with are very involved people, bossy even. So they were there through the whole process. And also because I also believe that I think as somebody who writes myself, I know how much your story can mean to you and how I mean putting a book out there sort of like a baby. You don't just want to hand your baby to anyone. You want to be part of the creation process. So I'm happy to let a writer be there through every part of the process, which makes the whole process smooth, but can sometimes cause a bit of a disagreement because I'm like, no, I'm the expert. You may be a writer, but I'm the expert on this, and then you try to sort it out. But I would much rather have put out something that isn't perfect, but is accurate to what the writer wants. I would hate to put out a
Mm,
story that is just so commercialized that the writer doesn't even see themselves reflected in their work anymore.
right.
Yeah,
I'm very curious then, like for you are, I feel like you are still a growing publishing company.
very much.
For for your nkare the future work that you'll be doing, is there,
Yeah.
and now that you said experience has taught you things about how you dived into it, is there like a model mohlomong of your publishing company that you want to pursue, kind of to encourage the sustainability of your company, I guess? I don't know, does that question make sense?
A little. I'll answer
A
it best
little,
when I
I
get.
guess. And I guess I just mean, right now you're saying yes, you do all the editing, you do, you outsource book cover
Yeah.
design and stuff like that. I guess I just want to know, Renan, maybe this is me saying for future writers who are very like, that are very sold by your vision and they would want to publish with you. I guess my Inki is even more specific. What will the publishing process be like for them with you?
I think I'm going to answer your question the best way I understand it. Yeah.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think
I
in the
think it was very
past,
long-winded.
yes, I have been running mostly on passion, to be honest with you, and experience. And like I said, I went to school last year, has taught me
Yeah.
that passion is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to have, but you still need to take into account what's on the ground. So going forward, I am going to be more involved in the research before we publish. Before I accept
Mm.
the book, I need to find out is there space in the market for this book? And I mean, writers do deserve to get paid. I'm all about black women making money. Yes,
Yes,
yes.
please.
It's, so I think that's something that I should really take into account going forward. To like, okay, you want to put out this book, let's find out market trends, let's find out the best time to publish it, the best book design that will capture the eye, so to speak. So that's definitely one thing that I aim to change.
Mm. No,
Anything else I'm
definitely.
still very much happy with. Yeah.
So what did you say?
I was saying the other part of the process, except that I'm still happy with our current model.
Oh, okay. No, definitely. I appreciate that. I'm curious about the distribution aspect because we say the two books, yeah, dipale tsa nyopa, kapa ke pale ya dinyopa.
Palea Dinup, yeah.
Pale ya dinyopa le ke ratilwe. What was the distribution process like once the books? Because you did say, yeah, Inaya Ausdino Matlakala, you got a really great reception. How did you kind of get the book into
In the
the
street.
people's hands? Yes, in the
That was the
street.
day ourselves, Lady Neo. So we were selling the books. We got friends involved to sell the book as well, but it was mainly from ourselves. Because I remember at some point
Mm,
the book were in the boot of her car and she'd go around delivering them to people. So
right.
then the second with Kiratilo, you can find Kiratilo in Pick and Pay. So we
Oh,
got a
that's
bit of a
great.
distribution channel there. Yes. And then the third one, I'm still doing the sale this side myself. I think if I'm being honest, at the rate
Yeah.
of, it's been harder getting Unbreakable into stores because of the LGBTQI part of it.
Mm,
The Lesotho is still a bit conservative about that. Yeah. But going forward, I really would like to take the distribution channel away from my hands and then just do bookstores, retail stores, take a lot, all those, because it can
right.
get
Kind of
cumbersome.
to
Mm,
for a sec, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, to increase the reach. I think yeah, that getting,
Yes.
more people to distribute
To
it from
see.
different channels will definitely help. Yeah,
Yes.
increase the reach, sorry. What how do you I guess how do you engage kapo nkare once the book is in people's hands, how do you keep engaging the readers with the work that the authors have written? Kapa, is it on the authors to keep, making noise about their book? Kapa, once it's on the shelves, is it like
I have to
um
make noise. There'll be radio, there'll be social media. A lot has been social media, but local radio has also been very pivotal in our success. But I
mm,
still feel like going forward, we need to do more.
right.
Yeah.
I'm curious as well, what I know the kind of books that you are drawn to. Like
Mhm.
in the future of Lipstick and Scars, what kind of books would you like to put out in the world? Kore, like stories that you are craving for as a publisher that you hope that writers can submit to you.
I'm still very much about pushing the Black experience and the Black narrative, but I shy away from struggle.
Mm,
I do not like how Africa and Lesotho is depicted in the media as being struggling, as being sad. The typical black woman in the media, a baby on her head, a baby on her back, and a pill on her head type of vibe. I
right,
really
right.
to contribute to that body of work. Of course, I understand that we go through challenges, but I would like to depict Africa and Lesotho in its true form. Being, yes, there are a lot of bad things happening, but there's also a lot of good. There's a very multifaceted way of life here, and so those are the books
Yeah.
that I want. Yeah.
I love that. I think that really ties in with Ngare, our vision for Muduane as well,
Okay.
because the vision that we have drafted so far for Muduane is that we want to see a rich and diverse literary landscape in Lesotho. And that
Yeah.
richness is a richness of the kinds of stories, it's a richness of the variety of genres that are written. Because as it stands, I know that a lot of Basotho do write self-help books, and I think there's a market for that, and it can also tell you about the kind of the way people are ready to consume information right now. And at the same time, I also long to see the growing range. Like that's why I get excited about books like Iratile, like more children's literature written by Basotho writers, more kinds of stories. So I really love that publishers are in a position to bring those kinds of stories to life as well.
Yeah.
I think another thing that I would love to ask you, Korena, and I believe it's a misconception. How batla o tima Mosotho ditaba o di ngole. It's a misconception about
I've had
you
that.
know you've heard that Basotho ha ba bale, and I don't know, I feel like maybe our reading culture is there's definitely much room for growing, but I don't think Basotho ha ba bale. But I as a publisher, I just want to get your take on Nurena. What's your take on the reading culture, yeah, Lesotho as it stands? And that could be your personal opinion, maybe not Lipstick and Scars opinion,
Yeah.
I don't know. Mm.
I think when people say that, I think we reduce reading to reading books and newspapers, whereas reading can be
Mm,
done on many different platforms and many different mediums. Basotho do read, maybe not in the traditional sense of buying a book, but they consume content on social media, they consume content on blogs, And all those things constitute reading. Yeah. We just need to open ourselves up to see the world is changing and how we consume media will definitely change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's really true. I want to say to the people that are watching, Maniti, Kiawana, hi ladies, I'm enjoying this. Maniti is also part of the team Yamuduane and a very
Okay.
great friend of mine. So I would love to say to the people who are watching, please, if you have any questions for Lipstick and Scars Publishing, please put them in the comments, and I think Austakan will happily answer them. Um, I think another question that I would like to ask, I've been asking the past two publishers that we had a conversation with, ke ba botsa hore na, what do they think maybe misconceptions that writers have about publishing a book? Do you think that people tend to rush into it, like, oh, I can't wait for my baby to be on the shelves, but maybe
Mm.
they've kind of skipped some aspects about what putting a book out in the world really means? Do you think ho na le ntho tseo boneng ka dingodi ha di so di utlwisise hantle ka ho hatisa dibuka?
Yo. um, how do I say this delicately?
Oh.
I think my experience with Basotho writers, some of course, has been
Right, right.
that just because you're a writer, you think you can publish a book and you don't take into account a lot of things, but mostly editing. I've seen people tell a really good story, but it is so riddled with editing mistakes that it's hard to even go past the first few pages.
Yeah.
So for me, it's always that give, even if you don't want, if even you want to self-publish, which is also an option that people will take, at the very least have an editor. At the very least have a fresh set of eyes look through your work and take out those very silly grammatical mistakes because it really affects how your book will be perceived. It lacks professionalism and it does cost you sales.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Because like a story could be a really good story in its right,
It could
but
be a
as
great
a reader,
story, but
I can't get through like the tense. I'm like, ooh, I'm loving the narrative, but my goodness, like, so I think that's really important, Kanete, the quality
yeah.
of work. And I think as more Basotho are writing and reading each other's work, I think that will create a collective sense of like, oh yeah, no, we have to keep increasing the quality of the work that we put out. So that buka tsa rona di ske tsa balwa hae mona fela, di balwe globally. Like I feel,
Yeah.
I follow there's like this literary nkare, powerhouse in a way, ebitswang brittle paper. They've been a
Mm.
literary on a con on the internet for a long time, just kind of curating news and lifestyle around African writers. I've never ever seen anything about writing from Lesotho. Like it's an African literary blog, but Lesotho high in a lot of conversations about African literature. Apart
And that is
from
so sad because we have very beautiful
mm,
stories.
we do, and I think sometimes the conversation that ha re bua ka African literature, sorry, ha re bua ka literature from Lesotho, we're gonna take it way back. Re tlo bua ka Ntate Thomas Mofolo, and bless his soul, he set the nkare, he is a definitely literary predecessor. If it's an
Yeah.
ancestor,
Yeah.
that's whole. I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah,
He's a
exactly.
giant. Giant,
Yeah, he
definitely.
really is. He really is. And like when you look on the internet for like information on um Lesotho's literature, actually, I have no doubt that he will be one of the names that pop up. And of course, all the powerful writers that we've been reading, Zele Bana ba Sekolo, from Matshidiso Ilisupi wa Bophelo ba Dillo, ko ba bangata dingodi tsa Basotho. And I never want to remove that kapa de-emphasize the work that they've done to set a stage for literature Lesotho. And at the same time, I really want to see like a continuing conversation about dibuka tsa hona jwale that reflect our now, Lesotho now, Basotho's lives today.
Today.
So yeah, I
I
think
think
Manit
it's
is
very
okay.
important.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
carry on.
Let's. No, I think
Oh
that's
no.
very important because we all grew up. I think I grew up mostly on Nigerian literature. We grew up on Achebe, and then as you grow up, there's been Chimamanda. there's been others. So it's a growing body of work. It's not stuck in the past. So even for us, I would like to grow our body of work. While we, like
Oh
you're
yeah,
saying, people like Thomas Mofolo should be remembered, and rightly so, but we need stories
right.
that reflect our current Lesotho.
No, totally agreed. I was and Kibana Manitari and editor is like a surgeon, winky face. Yeah, definitely.
Definitely,
Definitely
definitely. And
they
I think
are,
sometimes
you know. Oh yeah,
people
carry on.
really minimize how important an editor is. I mean, even for me, I'm a writer. I edit books, but when I write something, it still needs a fresh pair of eyes.
A fresh
Yeah.
pair of eyes, or even like a couple of extra eyes as well,
Yeah.
just to make sure that
Just to
somebody's
make
gonna look
sure.
through, yeah, look through the more technical elements. Another person kind of gets a better sense of the solidness of the narrative. Or like a fresh pair of eyes, definitely.
Mm,
Um,
very needed.
I think since Retlo Petela, I want to, and you may or may not be able to answer this right now, and that's okay, but the cost of publishing, would you be able to talk a little bit about that? What that looks like publishing with you and Musomong, or what you aspire for your company to do in as far as like how do you, yeah, how the payments of it all, the money of it all. The last publisher that we talked to, Bona, they went with the traditional publishing model where um they pay for everything up front as the publisher, and then they will get compensation from book sales. So it's kind of that
Mm,
contractual agreement between the publisher and the author. And then the other publishers, when now you pay for kind of an upfront for all the services. I guess there's different models, Linan's gone and Zeki Tutatsona, but where do you want to, I guess, fit in as far as like the payment of publishing, the cost of publishing?
Remember when you started this conversation and I mentioned how bad I am with finance?
Right.
That has been my biggest challenge,
Mm,
where my model has been that you pay upfront and then you also pay me a percentage of the sales. But I want to be honest with you, I have not really been good at the financial part of the business. So much so that I have considered and am considering maybe pairing up with one of the boring finance people because they know what they're doing.
mm.
So that means this year we'll be coming up with a newer model, hopefully a better model by somebody who is more well versed in the financial aspects of things. And I think
Oh
that will
yeah,
also help drive sales.
definitely. Well, I'm looking forward to that. I think it's you are dipping your toes into, this area. So of course it will take you time to like, you know, build like
Yes.
models that you think are really great and a good fit for your company as well. So I I just really wish you all the best as a company, as Lipstick and Scars, because I don't know, I really just love seeing more work being put out. Dingolwa, Dibala, I really, that's just really something that's really close to my heart. So I wish you all the best with,
Thank
the
you.
growth, yeah, yeah, Lipstick and Scars. I think Haka Petal, I want to ask you more open-ended question. Is there something that's in your heart that you want to share regarding publishing, or like just a question that you feel like you would have loved me to ask you um, about, the publishing journey?
I think I think what's in my heart would be just telling people to write. I mean, I've published books, but the journey's been great. It hasn't been great. So I feel like for writers, that's also something that they need to acknowledge that maybe your first book might not be a bestseller,
Mm,
but you get better as you go along. You write your second, you write your third. Pretty soon you are doing best-selling work. So for me, that's very important that people need to let themselves fail. It's just,
yeah,
yeah, you fail and you get up.
and
Yeah,
you keep it moving. That's really
you keep it
powerful.
moving.
Yeah, I mean, as a writer, I think that's also really great wisdom, Kanete, because we are always expecting the first thing that you put out is gonna be your
No.
revolutionary masterpiece. Maybe it might be, but maybe it
It
really
might
won't.
be, but that's very rare.
Right, right. So,
Yeah.
like, Manit is also saying in the comments, "Sipetso ngola," which is really what Austakani is saying as well, that we keep writing, and we keep pursuing that craft and honing that craft. Ya ho ngola. So, I think we're gonna end it right here. Batho bohle ba ne ba shebelletse le ba tla shebella ha se re beile letlapeng la rona. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you learned a lot about this specific publisher, lipstick and scars. Oh, is it plural? Lipsticks and scars,
Yes, with
or
an
just one
S.
lipstick? Oh,
A
my
lot of
bad.
lipstick.
Next time, a lot of lipsticks.
Yeah,
Neke sa ngola hantle on the posters. I'll make sure to correct
that's
that.
okay.
I think we definitely need to, because I was trying to find you on social media like lipstick and scars. How can people reach you? Is there a website? I will write it in the comments so that people can be able to
No. There is a website. I will give it to you via
okay.
WhatsApp
Okay,
and an
sounds
email
good.
address. Yes.
Uh-huh.
So if people do write, I'll maybe check after the 10th. Like I said, I am on holiday, rest of Africa
Eh.
seeing. Yeah.
No, that sounds good. Yeah, o tla nromella tsona ebe ke tla be se ke di paste out to on this live on Facebook so that people can know how to reach you. But with all that, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this conversation.
And thank
Thank
you
you for
for
taking
having
the
me.
time.
All
Yeah.
right.
Well, enjoy your holiday mode. Thank you.
Well, have a great rest of the
Bye.
day.
Thank you, Kalubo. All right, I'm going to end this live. Thank you so much for tuning in. I see in Tikala says, I think authors and publishers should invest more in marketing their books. And honestly, I couldn't agree more. I'm going to close the live. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye bye.